I have this curious beast that lives inside my head, and I'm about to unleash it. All right, let's go. At home with Barnaby Joyce. Oh, the air is so fresh, my man. Hat on or off?
I think you should put it on just to show the punters. Now, folks, any bigger than that, you'd come out of here bucking.
Well, Bob Catter reckons I've got a big hat but not a lot of cattle.
I don't think Bob's got any cattle at all, so you'll do all right.
Oh, you're getting on with Bobby all right,
Yeah,
aren't
I'll
you?
get along all right with him, but I don't know whether he's a bona fide cattle producer. We got cattle, but good luck to me. You know, I've listened to all Bob's stories.
Yeah.
And if they're all true, he's 253.
He's got residence, though. He works it. You know, he's kind of crazy. He's a bit like Sir Joe, like that.
Yeah. Look, I like Bob, but you know, Bob's got a big story. I think that it would be smart for him to start thinking about, you know, what's next. I worry about him. He's a good guy. He's got a good soul. But I think there comes a time where you got to think about it. You don't turn into a Joe Biden. You know,
You're gonna tell that to his face because he's got a raft of heavy machinery. You're not going to, are you?
Yeah, I just did, didn't I?
Mate, Bob Catter's going to come looking for this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, look, what's it like being home? Because I can't imagine a place that's more removed than Canberra to here.
I love being home. I feel like there's two people. There's the Barnaby, and so it sounds weird talking about yourself in the third person, so give me some leverage for this. There's Barnaby on television, and there's Barnaby at Danglemaar, and Barnaby at Danglemaar doesn't even know who Barnaby on television is. They're two different people. They live two different lives. I'm obviously I'm closer to my natural person when I'm at home. Oddly enough, I'd prefer to be by myself, working by myself. Other people, when they work with me, get a bit annoyed by that. I'll go out and do my own stuff out in the scrub, you know, go fencing or do a bit of cattle work or something like that. But then you've got to be, you know, Barney and lights on down in Canberra. And if you're not Barney and lights, you're not going to have a job in politics. And that's a different person, and he has to do a different job.
You're talking about it in a third person, like you actually have to work at separating them.
Yeah, you do.
What's the difference between Barnaby at home and Barnaby at work?
Well, one has to be in the public gaze and has to understand they're a product of, you know, that the public demands to see and wants to hear. You got to talk all the time. You got to explain your position. Barnaby at home has to work out how to get steel posts to line up for a fence and to make sure that a paddock doesn't run out of water and to keep the cattle coming in. So my brother, who does the books, has the money turning over to run the property. So we have a family operation. You know, I run the on property side, and my brother runs the financial side.
You're talking as if it's a character, the Barnaby in Canberra. It's
No, it's not false. It's just a different chapter of yourself. Like, I suppose, I bet it's the same with you and people watching this. Do you talk the same to your mum and dad that you do to your mates?
probably a bit more respectful to mum than my mates.
I'd say that'd be the case. But you're not two different people. It's just that you got your roles to play when you're in that position.
A heightened version of yourself for the cameras and whatnot.
Yeah, maybe that's
Gee, it's running hot at the moment for you and One Nation.
Yeah.
Did you, I mean, I know that you love this area of Australia.
Yep, I do.
And I know that you loved the Nationals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looked like you separated without too much regret. How angst-ridden was the decision?
It's like leaving a marriage. You don't do it flippantly. Think about it for a long while and you try to sort it out. But when it becomes apparent that you can't sort it out, and my relationship with David was completely dysfunctional, it was unbecoming of me, it was discordant, I was just becoming bitter and angry, and there seemed no way out. And, obviously I was isolated, you're stuck in a corner, no questions, corner of the parliament. We don't want you out of the electorate because we don't think people like you, blah, 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 blah. And then you just get to a point and go, I'm out. That's it. I'm gone. And when I was gone, to be honest, the greatest relief I've ever felt in my life, I just walked and I was driving up the road. I know exactly where I was. I was between Uralla and Armidale, just gone over the Great Dividing Range. And all of a sudden this feeling came over me like, why didn't I do that a year ago? thank God that's over.
Divorcing the National Party or just David Littleproud?
Well, probably more David, to be honest. Frank?
You don't like him, do you?
We've got issues. So, you know, I've got to get over it. But now I don't have to worry about that. I moved on. You know, you move on, you move on, you move on. And that's life. I think that people do say, oh, yeah, I love the membership of the branches. I hadn't been with the National Party for 10 years. I'd been with them for 30.
Yeah.
You know, 10 years as just a party member and 20 years as an elected representative. So, of course, you know, you don't walk out and go, oh, you know, to hell with all of them. You go, this hurts. But I've got to, you know, for me to do the best thing for my nation, for myself, I've got to get out.
That's what I was going to ask you, because to me, you're through and through national. You're the very essence of the National Party. And a lot of people out there voted for you because of that. And you're a voice for those National Party people. And I wonder if it would be hard for them.
Whether they feel let down. I know what you're saying. I have been overwhelmed, genuinely overwhelmed, by the response I've got on the streets of Tamworth and round. I was ready to take a fair bit of curry, and all I've got is people slapping on the back saying, good on you, well done, you know, you'll go well with Pauline. Now, has there been any pushback? Yes, predominantly by people who are elected members of the National Party or National Party executive members, and I understand that, and I give them the latitude, and you know, I understand that completely, and I don't hold any sort of bitterness or recrimination to them. But on another media stable, they came up and they said, oh, look, we want to go for a walk down the street with you. Can you organise people to meet you and say hello? And I went, I don't think that'll be a problem. And I kid you not, we didn't get 150 metres down the street, and that film crew said, we've got to go back. I said, well, I said, this is crazy. We're just not getting anywhere. And we got back to the office and they said, it's like going for a walk with the friggin' Pope. So what does that mean?
Barnaby Joyce is comparing himself to the Pope now.
But
a little more unholy.
No, that was, yeah. But that was then. But what that shows, what was the point of what I just said then? No, the support for joining One Nation is phenomenal.
Yeah, and look, you're a popular man in Canberra. Where do you think Canberra's gone wrong? Because it's lost its authenticity.
Yes, it has. It's become sanitised. I don't know, maybe the advent of the mobile phone, but let's go for a little walk down memory lane. The politicians now, they have the swagger of, you know, I'm one of the blokes, I'm, you know, knockabout. But their form guide is a pretty sanitised. They grew up in a petri dish of either the union movement, solicitors firms, or politics itself. And there's a lot of bullshit, a lot of pretending to be somebody you're not. For instance, in the past, the Labor Party had this unique thing, labourers, people who had actually laboured with their hands, who had skin cancers on their face, who could tell you about when they were a fettler or when they were a shearer or when they were, you know, fitter and turner. Those just don't exist. They're not there anymore. For the National Party, I think in New South Wales, at a federal level, I was the last genuine farmer who actually had a farm. And even the Liberal Party used to be all small businesses, small shops. Well, no, it's not. It's mainly solicitors and professionals. And so the whole complexion has changed. And in the past, you had, you know, when we go back to the 70s, you had people who were ex-service men, overwhelmingly, who'd actually served and actually had that robustness of, you know, let's not get too carried away with this because, you know, that we've been in worse dogfights than this one. And that's sort of been removed. Before I was going to Canberra, here's a history. There used to be like, oh, yeah, this is terrible. You've looked at someone the wrong way. I think there was something suggestive about how you smiled at that person. All that bullshit. When I was first, there used to be a place called the Holy Grail, right? It was a pub. This was something to see because you would go in there and find politicians sucking face with other politicians and staffers and not sort of drunk, smashed. And if you sat back and said, were they good politicians? Yeah. Yes, they were. Were they patriots? Absolutely, 100%. Were they bad? Don't think so. But that does, now, since the advent of a mobile phone, expectations, those days are over. And, I even remember reading stories about Gorton, the Prime Minister of Australia, former fighter pilot that crashed twice. And he went to dinner, with his mates, had a few scotches after work, rolled up for dinner, get a couple of bowls of red, finished dinner, a couple of cocktails, still feel like going, yep, 100%, get into the port. And they said they poured him onto the plane, like, here you go, poured him onto the plane. Now, he was a fighter pilot, and he said he disgraced himself, that is, he threw up. And he knew he was in trouble. And he looked around at the air hostess, and he said, I suppose you find it surprising that a person with my flying experience would still get airsick. And she went, not at all, sir, not at all. It's just that we haven't taken off. Now, that was the Prime Minister in the past. Believe you me, it was vastly more robust than it is now.
So what's happened in Canberra in the last couple of months? Because no matter what way you look at it, One Nation's catching on like wildfire.
It is, because people are just even, it sort of segues on the back of that. People feel they've been sanitised by the left. They've been made to believe, not that they believe, they've been guilt-tripped into things that they never wanted to do. They've had a whole heap of sort of economic theorem that they knew was crap rammed down their throat, and I'll give you that. We're going to run the place on intermittent power. Oh, solar panels and windmills, and it's bullshit. It doesn't work. And they say, oh, you can't say that because otherwise you're a climate denier. So, okay, I'm a climate denier, whatever you mate. But people have got to that snapping point. And then this idea that you can just bring in heaps of people from all around the world and it doesn't matter and they all go along jolly well and everything will be kumbaya till we ended up with a turkey shoot on human beings at Bondi where people are just getting wholesalely murdered and massacred. That's how well it works out. And a lot of people sort of said, okay, I'm an Australian, I'm tolerant, but I have a snapping point. I have a point where I go, yeah, no, that'll do me. And guess what? A lot of people have got to, no, that'll do me. I'm over it. Let's go.
It profoundly affected everyone.
It did.
Most people across Australia, well, how could that be in this country of ours, right?
Even here, right? So Vicky comes to I get home, we just live in we live in a cottage. We don't live in a big flash house. It's a 4-bedroom cottage with an iron roof. And Vicky's at the front fence crying. And I'm going, what's going on? And she just said, they're shooting people. They're shooting people. They're shooting people. And I thought, what's going on? She said, they're at Bondi Beach and they're just shooting people. And that was Australia. People just woke up and said, what the hell has just happened to our country? What the hell just happened there? And that's where I think a lot of people said, okay, I'm going to toughen up. Because Australians, we're very good. We're very egalitarian. We're easygoing. Just leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. But if you keep poking them in the eye, they'll get to a point and say, okay, I'm going to pull you on. Let's go.
What happens now with that energy? Because polls are one thing, but if you can harness it, it's a huge job ahead. It's unrealistic that you'll make it on your own. You'll have to form some sort of coalition with David Littleproud, whom you despise.
I don't despise him, I just don't like him.
Are you gonna, is it, when you look at the polls, you may take Labor in the next couple of weeks? I mean, in your wildest imagination, did you think that would be possible?
No, I didn't. And Karl, if it goes down a bit, I won't be surprised either, okay? But the trajectory I'm very happy with, and it's an indicator. It's not the vote. Don't get carried away. You stay humble because hubris comes before nemesis. You get carried away with yourself, you're going to get slotted over here. So, I'm very aware of the expectations of the Australian people, the work that's required, the skill sets that they're going to start looking for now. And I try within the team with Tyron, with Sean, with Robert, with Pauline, Malcolm Roberts.
I thought you were going to say Malcolm Turnbull then. That would have been a turn-up.
Yeah, I don't think Malcolm's going to get along with Paul.
Another one of your favourites?
We were mates at the start. He just went all weird, It's I don't know what happened to him. It's just like, it's like one of these guys at the pub, after 5 or 6 drinks, they just turn to a crazy person. And you go, where who's that? And that's Malcolm. Anyway, he's gone. I'm still there. I win.
Hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
150 seats you want to put candidates into. Is that realistic?
Yep, you can do it. And I think it's really important. It's really important that we give everybody the opportunity to vote for One Nation. Our membership's going through the roof, absolutely taking off. And those members in those areas want a candidate. So you let them find a candidate and run them. Obviously, your vetting process has got to catch up to the growth of the party, because inevitably one candidate or someone, it happens in all parties, you'll find out they robbed a bank or,
I can't wait to see the One Nation loonies made at the polls.
I
mean, come on.
They held up a train,
What's wrong with that? Old school.
Had a more than endearing affection for their neighbour's goat or something.
One goat, Barnaby.
Just one goat, but a man. But it's like in all parties, you find out too late about the crazy person, and then inevitably you'll have one of those.
I think for sure Labor thought you weren't a threat, and I think their tone has changed in the last couple of weeks.
Their tone's changed now.
Are you going after them in?
No, we're a Conservative party. We're not. We're a Conservative party, and we're happy to replace other people who aren't able to do that job, and we're going to go after the socialists. We do not believe. The essence of conservatism is not rich people, right? It's not. It is people who believe that that although you were not born of great wealth or a great education or blessed with a great family, that nonetheless you can transcend through the economic and social stratification of life to your highest level, limited only by your innate abilities. That means you've got to have private ownership. That means you've got to have be allowed to go into business. Because remember, people who get through, they usually get through as business people, their own little businesses. That means that you don't want government. Every time there's a new regulation, it's a removal of part of your freedoms. We don't like government in every corner of our life. We want government to worry about defending the nation, pick up the rubbish, grade the roads, but don't start telling me what power I'm going to use and what I can say and sticking myriads of flags up in front of me and saying I have to salute the lot and do all these other things that just says intrusion by the government. We don't want the government in our lives.
We do want them to build things, though.
But they're not very good at it, are they? I mean, when was the last dam that I was the minister when we built the last dam. I think it was Charleston's Dam up in Georgetown, North Queensland, out here. They don't like dams. They love the Environment Department. I mean, you got this BS where you go to build a dam and you get these massive costs and you find out most of it is environmental offsets. So that they do a study into Ningaloo Reef to allow them to build a dam at Tamworth, and we believe this shit. And, and we just got to peel this garbage back.
So would you invest in, we produce a shit ton of coal.
We should have coal-fired power stations.
In every state?
Coal-fired power stations. There's nothing why. You're wondering why One Nation grows. So we've got coal that starts at Wollongong and goes to Mackay, all along there. We used to have the cheapest power. People, pensioners, were comfortable because we had cheap power. And then they decided they were going to replace the coal-fired power stations with windmills and solar panels all up and down the coast and transmission lines, and it was going to work perfectly. And hasn't it worked well? You're going to have coal-fired power stations. People say, the climate, bullshit. You're not going to change the climate. Chris Bowen is not God. He cannot change the great vault of heaven. That is going to stay around about where it is, and I've had a good look at Chris. I don't think the man could change a tyre, let alone the weather.
I read this thing the other day. It was quite interesting that we export so much coal to China. They're building a coal-fired power station
about every 4 days.
And part of the power they're producing is producing some of the windmills that
we take back.
It's nuts. Something needs to give.
It's nuts.
But it's going to take some big decision making.
And it makes the Australian people just to say, okay, and they come and say, intermittents are the cheapest. What, really? Is your experience cheapness? I tell you, you can guess our power policy really, really well. Forget about CSIRO; they're basically owned. I really lost faith in them, or AEMO. CSIRO, Rio Tinto. They're pretty smart, multiple billions of dollars. they've had a damn good look at our power policy. And they've got this little thing called Tomago Smelter and a whole heap of other things. And they've decided they're leaving. They're going somewhere else because we are off our heads. And they're going, look, anyway, look, good old Aussies, don't tell them they're crazy, right? Don't tell them they're crazy. Crazy people hate you telling them they're crazy. Just leave. Just leave. And they're just going.
So that's one thing. How many migrants should we be taking in every year?
See, they do it the wrong way around, Karl. They should be saying, how many houses have you got free at the moment? How many hospitals are working well? How many schools are not crowded? What sort of people do you need? Do you need unemployed people having babies, or do you need builders? And then you say, well, we can absorb this many people. So that's what we'll go looking for, but not just anybody. We're going to look for the skill sets of people that we need. And we're going to say, here's the contract. Do you want to live in Australia? You can't. There's two things you cannot be: in the crime pages or on Social Security, okay? So if you want to be in the crime pages or on Social Security, you cannot come. And I don't care if you're coming from the Vatican, Central America, Central Africa, or the middle of Europe. If you're going to turn up and yak eye on, cause problems, then you stay where you are. If you pine for where you came from and say, I really want Australia to be just like the shithole I came from, you go back there. It was true.
Well, I mean, it's a fair statement, but I want to know from you, you're in power tomorrow, say you're the PM. By the way, incidentally, who's PM, you or Pauline?
Pauline, there you go. Just let's. See, people are trying to divide us up by,
No, but someone's got to take the job.
Yeah. Look, Pauline could be PM. It could be PM. Anybody. That's the great thing about Australia. You're not determined by a dot on your forehead or what your name was or whether you have a hyphenated double barrel name. In Australia, you just are who you are, and you get ahead. And you can be the Prime Minister if you want to be in Australia. I love that.
For example, hypothetical, Barnaby Joyce is the Prime Minister. What do you do with immigration from day one?
Straight away start doing a stock take on what Australia can absorb, because I think you'll find that we can't absorb what we've got. I mean, this is a nutcase. We're bringing in more than the population of Canberra a year. You say, have you built the houses in Canberra? Have you built the schools? Have you built a new dam? Have you built, where's your power plants?
You can tinker around with the budget all you want, but it's not going to build homes.
No, and see, a budget, what you got to do with a budget, this is another thing. See, if you've been in business, you realise this. Running the nation is like running a business. Your balance sheet, your assets and your liabilities. And over here, you got your P&L, your profit, your profit, your revenues and your expenses. So now, what the Labor Party does, it spends all the time talking about the revenue and expenses, mainly the expenses. So they spend more money on childcare, more money on this, more money on that. They're going to have a new subsidy over here. A lot more expenses. And you say, okay, Cyclone, that's great. How are you paying for it? Oh, well, windmills, solar panels. And they don't talk about bolstering up the balance sheet. You need substantial assets on the balance sheet. You need your dams, you need your freight rail, you need your roads, you need your schools, you need markets developed overseas, you need coal-fired power stations, you need big assets on your balance sheet. And then you can then that inspires Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Mr. and Mrs. Stefanovic to run businesses and make money and pay taxes. And then they pay taxes, and those taxes help you pay for your expenses. You get your revenues, which are your income tax, to pay for the expenses. And see, when you have a government that just tells you about how much more money they're going to spend, then you naturally have to ask, well, how are you going to make it? And if they say, well, I'm just going to make it by more taxes on what's already there, you go, well, that just means I'm poorer. That's all that happens. I'm becoming poorer. And we're not having that proper narrative, Karl, in how we explain economics to the Australian people. I think the Australian people will run with you if you say, look, we're going to start building up our asset base because we've no hope of meeting these expenses. So what's happening in the short term is we're borrowing money. We're borrowing big chunks of money from the Middle East and from London and from Australia and from all around the world, which you have to pay back.
Have you always wanted to be PM, or you grew up on the land? You had a big family?
People on the land are very involved with politics because every time you change a regulation, inevitably it changes for us. New environmental laws, guess what they say? Well, we've got to stop the farmers from, catching fish. And, it's obviously, just lately, you're not allowed to do things on your own land without permission from the government. And then you can't get things to market because of regulations by the government. And then people go on strike because of actions, inability to operate in the government. And you're trying to make sure your family maintains with ownership of the farm. See, farms are basically handed most times from family member to family member and down generations. But the taxation department comes in and says, we're going to deem that's a sale. And you say, well, hang on, it's not. I'm just handing the thing down to my son or my daughter. And, they're the things that, so people on the land talk a lot about politics.
Do you know what I love about coming out to the country?
The hats.
Apart from the hats.
Yeah.
There's just no bullshit.
Yeah, well, what I think you'll find is even in this conversation, everybody thinks it in the city, but they don't say it. But they get a kind of a thrill and a happiness that someone just did.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk like this with you all the time. I talk like this.
Yeah.
So there's no bullshit about me and the way I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
What is it about the land that from an early age and you, because you have to, at some point along the way, they want you to comply. They want you to be a certain thing. They want Barnaby to be the politician. They want him to be the cookie cutter. Mm-hmm. And you never changed.
No, because I suppose it starts with you building your hands with a hammer and swearing. Just the reality. It's a real life. It's physical work. It's actual physical work, which gives you a sense of realism. It's there's consequences to actions. Even it's not so much when I was young, I used to ride a horse a lot, but not so much now, but certainly work with cattle. You can be as big a talker as you want, but that horse weighs 450 kilograms and you weigh 80. And that beast weighs 500 kilograms and you weigh 100. And you can talk a big game, but he'll win. And so it gives you a sense of realism in how something breaks down in the country. You got to fix it. You can't just, Mum, help. You actually got to fix it, And so it's a realism in your life, which is conveyed as a realism in how you express yourself. And mainly some people will find things you say offensive because of their abruptness, but you say, I've just got to cut through things quickly to get to where I need to be with you. I haven't got all day to massage your ego because you're some psych case who's going to run off and say that you had a troubled childhood. I just want to, let's just get to where we need to get to.
You ever been in a fight in Canberra?
Probably, I think so, yes.
You have been in a fight in Canberra?
I don't know, yeah, probably some, I don't know, stupid. Maybe, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think we know that.
I think I played, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I read that you're a bouncer.
Yeah, well, I'm not proud of that, but I was. Yeah.
What's wrong with being a bouncer?
I don't know.
Were you good at it?
I was cunning enough to be able to do it for 2 years. Look, here's a trick. The best thing you can use in a time of peril is your mouth, not because, don't get just remember you're dealing with people who are drunk and have massive egos, and just work with them, let them calm down and don't. If you try to be a hero, you are definitely going to meet someone who's going to beat you, and they're going to beat you badly.
How'd your mouth go in all
yeah, I lost my front teeth. I removed. I can even know the person. I know the name of the person who removed them, which goes to show you can meet someone bigger and uglier than you, and they do it very quickly.
The wonderful thing I think about you is, and also, I guess it's the most controversial thing about you, is that you are Barnaby Joyce.
Yeah.
You're authentically Barnaby, and you do things sometimes
Yeah, get me in trouble. Yep.
So is Barnaby Joyce's own worst enemy?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is thank you to the people who are so forgiving for me. I mean, yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, okay, the planter box thing. For a lot of people, that would have been the end of their career, but my vote went up. It's just, I think people are forgiving of you. Don't make a habit of it, but I think people, if they believe that you're real and you are who you are, and I suppose sometimes they just go, yeah, it's kind of par for the course for him, I suppose, You
remember I rang you?
Yeah, well, I thought I was the best dressed vagabond in Canberra. I remember looking at the photos and I thought, that's remarkable. I've got my suit on, my top button's done up. I've got a tie on. and I'm talking on my phone. I mean, it's just how you do business, isn't it?
Not that you take advice from me, but I texted you and said, mate, damage to you nil, because it's you, but you had some regrets.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do it again. Believe you me, that was a cluster of monumental proportion. But I mean, the funny story is my poor old chief of staff. He rang up and he goes, "Oh, Barnaby, it's been this terrible, slanderous story about you. Slanderous." And I go, "Oh God, no, that's no good. What is it?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just disgusting." He said, "They say they have this. Someone has this film of you, absolutely paralytic, can't move, lying on a footpath on Lonsdale Street in Canberra, talking on your swearing on your mobile phone." And he said, "I've told them we're going to sue them." And for me, it was just crickets, dead silence. And he goes, "Now, there's no chance this is true, is there?" And I went, maybe.
I noticed you go to a soft tone when something's true. I've always wanted to know, did you get in much trouble when you got home that night?
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. I mean, of course you get into trouble. You know, but you deserve to get into trouble. But it was just stupidity. I mean, I wasn't at work. It was 11 o'clock at night. I was out completely cold. But
well, as someone who never does that.
Yeah,
kind
never
of
done.
thing.
We've all never done that, have we?
No.
No. You know what used to I found funny? All the journos get all super serious and blah. How do you feel about this? Are you going to resign?
Yeah.
And once the cameras were off, they go, "Well, mate, it's nothing compared to what I've done." I was talking to one, and she was saying, "Mate, it's funny how we're all getting up here about this, because on the weekend I was at a hens night.
Yeah.
And I was doing somersaults into the Archibald fountain."
Well, journos don't like to hold themselves to account. I mean,
No.
other people for sure.
Yeah.
And I've been on the receiving end of all that.
Yeah,
but,
you would have seen that.
Yeah.
Holier than thou.
But the point is, it was you. Mm-hmm. You did it. You said sorry. You roll on.
Yep.
And the public seemed to be okay with it.
Yeah, well, I suppose that they look for your next game. Are you back in the saddle? Are you working hard for them? Are you you're sharpening yourself up? Are you going to do that again? And I think that's what they're judging. Okay, they don't give you a medal for it. They go, "Oh, they just Australians are good like that." They go, "Okay, that was a class 1 cluster," but I'm worried about what you're going to do next. And you get back, work hard, be looking after me, focus on me, focus on my kids, focus on my husband, my wife, and we'll be right. We'll move on.
Barnaby, divorce is hard in the public eye.
Yep.
Was that a hard slog for you?
Yep. Worst time of your life. Don't do it. Here's my tip. If you don't need to do it, don't do it.
Takes a huge toll, doesn't it?
Oh, you don't do it. You just, it happened. And that's one of the things. I don't make excuses. All my fault. 100% my fault, that. But it's not assisted by being away from home all the time, which is what happens in politics. You're always on the road, and you probably 5-6 years works, 8 years starts getting a bit scratchy, 10, 13 years all starts coming unstuck. And but anyway, there you go. Everyone makes mistakes, but but once more it happens, fix it up, move on. You get on, and you make the next chapter work.
How is that next chapter?
Yeah, it's going well.
How's Vicky?
Yeah, look, she's very, very patient, isn't she? But
I mean, I couldn't live with you.
No, and there's times she can't either. But no, it's great, and we got the boys, and they're going well. And
Tell me about being a dad at 58 to the young ones.
Well, you know how you watch a game of football and you get frustrated, and you go, "F that, mate, they're bloody hopeless. I can do better than that." It's like watching my grandmother spar, and then you put on a pair of football boots. And you do this crazy thing. You go out for whatever they call, veterans game or a pensioners game, and you find it really hurts.
Yeah,
and you're not actually as fast as you thought, and you're not. And well, that's like having kids later on. You think, I can do it, and then you go, they're crying again.
It does hurt.
But surely there's someone else who can look after that kid. But once they get to the age like where they're riding motorbikes with you and stuff like that, which they are now. Oh, it's beautiful. It's incredible. To go out, I love going out with my daughters. Daughters and sons are different. Daughters, they're it's bushwalking, it's sophistication, it's dinners, it's talk, it's it's getting inside your head and unwiring it and wiring it back up again, which girls can do. Boys, it's like get on the motorbike. It's like roll around the grass. It's like get in a canoe. It's all that. And I do love that. I love them all the same, but it's different. And I get an immense sense of joy, like I did with the girls, now doing boy things with the boys. And I wouldn't hand it back for anything. I love it.
Well, that's good to know because it's pretty hard to hand them back.
No.
But what are your hopes for you two boys? I mean, they're what, 6 and 8?
Yeah, that Australia's strong enough. On a serious note, I worry about Australia. I think the world's changed. And we have now a totalitarian regime breathing down our neck called China. They're not mucking about. Either Mr. Xi Jinping is a bullshit artist because he says he's going to take Taiwan by 2027. We're living in 2026 this year. Or he's fair income and telling the truth. I think the latter. I think he's fair income. I think he's going to do it.
We're not prepared for it.
Well, people don't even think about the short term. Like, when this goes off, what's going to happen to your coal exports? They're finished. Iron ore exports, they're finished. Gas, beef, cotton, all the things you hated. You won't have to worry about them anymore because we won't export them anymore because all your trade will finish. So your dollar will be worth nothing. And seeing everything you have is imported, inflation will go through the roof. The only way we'll try and keep a dollar up is to put interest rates through the roof. Australia will be absolutely turned upside down, more so than any other country around the world. And we're not ready for it. There's no discussion going on in Canberra about that. I mean, you have a look at question time. It's a circus. It's not a question time. I haven't heard anybody talk about how they're going to manage this situation. And I worry about my sons because I think maybe because my family all been in the services, both grandfathers, my father and myself. And I think that I think we could be in for a really terrifying time, and I don't think we're ready for it. And those two boys are going to live in it, and that's why I get really serious about we got to get it together in Canberra because we are drifting. We are not prepared for this, and we don't even look like we're about to get prepared for it because there is just not the skill sets, and there's not the personalities, and there's not the philosophies and there's not the substance in the people there to be able to prepare for this. It's not there.
You don't think Albo could lead us through something like that?
No, he couldn't.
You want to think about it?
No, look, Albo, I don't know, mate. He's not convincing to me. I just get a sense of he's grown up in the political petri dish, and that's what he is. It's all about politics, and he's good at the politics, but I don't get a sense of toughness about him. I get a sense of sort of pretense. I don't get a sense of comfort. Like, some people can hang around, you feel comfortable, go, it's all right because if I'm with them, I know at least we'll put in a bloody good fight. But then I go, I think he'll go to water on us.
He won by a country mile, though, Barnaby. I mean, the Australian people aren't dumb.
Yeah, but only 30. He was only like 35% of the vote. Bill Shorten, who always reminds me about this, got more of a vote than he did.
Every time. Any funny Albo stories?
Yeah, heaps. He doesn't. Well, I'm sort of getting on well with him at the moment. But
hang on a sec, because I reckon there have been times when he doesn't like you much.
Oh no, he most certainly didn't like me.
Can you get under his skin?
Yeah, you can get under his skin. You can get under his skin. I mean, it's puerile. I mean, it's going to sound really puerile, but the way I'd just get under his skin is I'd make comments about his hands.
Sorry?
His hands. He doesn't.
His hands? What's wrong with his hands?
They're just lovely.
Albo's got lovely hands.
Yeah, well, he doesn't like you telling him that.
Well, they're small and...
No, they're just nice. They're nice hands.
You weirdo. You are a proper weirdo. The other one I wanted to talk to you about is...
Yeah, but the thing, it's like cricket. Cricket.
It's banter.
if you can put, and that's an adversarial chamber. That's another thing they want to sanitize. It's not supposed to be sanitized. It's supposed to see if you can work on the balls of your toes. It's supposed to see if you can take, a bit of curry. You can stand up. You can't stand up in the chamber. I mean, there's a whole heap of timber between you and the other guys, and they're never going to get to you. And even if they didn't, they couldn't do anything. Have a look at them.
So Barnaby sits there. Hang on, everyone. Barnaby sits there across the chamber, sits there like this, because I've seen you do that.
Yeah.
And you're going, you've got lovely hands, Albo.
Well, I don't actually say that. I said something else, but I've sanitized it for you. Because even I know there's a point I can't go beyond.
You clever bastard.
Yes, I am. They hear you, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're putting their hands in their pocket. And you go, I've got you. You're mine. And they're off their game, and they're not sounding as good on the questions. And that's part of it. And, people say, question time is a disgrace. You say, yeah, but why do you all watch it then? Do you know what the audience is for committee work? 0. No one watches it. You can still get it.
Yeah.
No one's interested in it. They want to be disgraced, they want to be disgusted by question time, and it's got to be tough, and it's got to test people out. That's what it's there for.
I wanted to finish on something that I've always thought about too. It was a great period because Johnny Depp was staying at Mick Doohan, who's one of my best friends in the world, his place on the Goldie.
I was talking to Mick Doohan the other day.
Yeah, he's a great fella.
Yeah, he was up at a wedding, and I was talking to him for a while. I was trying to work out who he was, and I went, I know you.
He's Mick, he's an Australian legend. He's royal.
Yeah, I know. He's a really nice guy too.
He's the best.
Yeah,
he's the best.
Usually when people have been that high, you meet them and they're sort of full of themselves, but he wasn't. He was really good.
No,
really
he's
good
the
guy.
best. He's
really
rock
good guy.
solid, and what he did overseas was unbelievable. You know, and he always flew the Australian flag, mate. He loves this country.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. Good guy.
So he was staying. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was staying at his place when
they break in, did they?
Not that he's confirmed. I mean, he likes to keep that stuff private, but maybe. But, the two little dogs.
The guy's a tosser.
Who, Johnny?
Yeah.
Not Mick. Johnny.
No, not Mick. Johnny.
Johnny Depp?
Yeah, mate, he's a tosser. He is. And everyone, like, when he was, did you see that video of him and his missus, throwing flour at each other and, carrying on like turnips inside their kitchen? I mean, this is the guy, Johnny. I mean, the guy's a...
How did it come across your desk that he'd brought, who was it, Pistol and Boo?
I just passed the biggest biosecurity act in Australia's history and no one gave a shit about it. And I was talking to my media advisor. I said, mate, I have managed to get this through the Senate. It's 650 pages long. It's a work of art, and I haven't even got boo about it. I said, what have we got? And he goes, there's an earthquake here and there's somebody else. And, and then we have, over here, we also have, Mrs. Kafoops has given an economic statement out, and it's really quite astounding because there might be a 0.25% deviation from the standard meat on the trimmed inflation. I go, huh? And he goes, there's some movie actors and they've... But Johnny Depp, apparently he's brought his dogs in, but anyway, I went, whoa, stop, rewind. He brought his dog in. Bye.
Oh, you seized an opportunity and sought him out.
And he didn't even know about it, not even the media advisor. So I went out, did my doorstop, and my media advisor came, that was disgraceful.
What did you say? I can't remember.
I just said I was going to euthanize him. My dad was a vet. Bit of pentothal, bit of euthanol. Pentothal to quiet him down, euthanol to send him into happiness, give him a blue dream. And,
I don't even want to know what that is.
But then I got
nice
back.
Way to go.
I got back. Remember, there was the earthquakes that just happened tragically in Nepal. And I went back and I said, how's it going? How's that media's doorstop going? He goes, no one cares about that. Then later on they said, it's starting to take off a bit. I went, all right. He goes, Then later on in about half an hour, he goes, no, it's going really well.
Yeah.
And then I sort of disappeared and came back 3 hours later. There was just stars in his eyes. He goes, it's the biggest story. And I went, what, in Australia? He goes, the world.
Little Barnaby Joyce, eh? Look what you created.
And then all the Americans hated me. Remember the talkback show at night? Well,
I remember that Johnny went on a late night show and said that Barnaby Joyce looks like an inbred tomato.
I'm still here and he's gone. I win again. I mean, they named their dog Barnaby Joyce. I mean, I live rent-free in that man's head.
Oh, I'm getting a cramp talking to
you. So
you'll be back for the fight then. You don't want to be wasting your time in opposition.
Oh, no.
Because the opposition is...
Oh, it's a mess. Yeah, no, It's sad. It's so
I agree.
dysfunctional. It's just hopeless. I think there's a skill set there to do it. They just don't seem to be able to put it on the paddock. It's just, I don't know what's going on there. And it's just chaotic. They got married, they got divorced, they got married, they got divorced. They want to get married again. They don't know whether they're going to get married again. They're probably going to get married before the election. Mate, dysfunctional.
I feel like that's Barnaby Joyce's mantra that I'm still here.
Yeah, well, I suppose I am. Well, I'm only here because people vote for me. I'm only here because other people kept me here. It's not by my own doing. So that's what it's all about, making sure that people want you. And they only want you if you're doing something for them and they believe that you should be there. And I hope that's it. I hope they believe that, that I've got Australia at heart and I'm trying to do the best I possibly can for this country. That's what it's all about. We haven't got it. There's no plan B. We lose this, and you can lose it. You can lose it. She's all over. There's no other undiscovered Australia that we can all drift off to. This is it. Lose it, she's gone.
Good to talk to you, Barnaby.
Absolute pleasure.